Welcome to Video Marketing Success Stories. Andy Glickman, along with my special guest, Maury Rogow, CEO and founder of RIP Media Group. Hey, Maury, how you doing?
I'm great. Thank you, Andy.
Thanks for joining us, as you so often do. But taking time out of your busy schedule, which I always appreciate. It's not that Maury is just always here at the door waiting to come in because I asked him.
Coming up, buddy. I'm just standing here. That's all I do. Wait outside your door.
He graciously answers my invitations, and I certainly appreciate you taking the time to join us and talk about some of the great work that you do at RIP Media Group.
Thank you. Yeah, we love what we do, man. That's one of the biggest things. If you don't love what you do, please change. It'll be better for the world and for you.
Right, for the sake of everyone involved, please change. Well, thank you so much. Today I wanted to talk about a special project that you guys worked on recently for a very special client, very special foundation, Neuromuscular Disease Foundation, NDF, more specifically. You guys put together a terrific animated video for a project of theirs, and I think also for general use. I'll let you talk about that. But more specifically, sometimes it's kind of, the client takes precedence, not just because of what's in their bank account, but just literally who they are. And I think this is a great example of that. So talk a little bit about how you came about, how you met the folks at NDF and came about producing this project, and then the project itself.
Sure, absolutely. NDF is Neuromuscular Disease Foundation. So it's a very serious disease that does not have a cure yet. And this organization is working extremely hard, rallying scientists around the world, physicians around the world, and of course they need funds to eradicate this from the earth. So I think they found us. We actually got an inquiry on our website from these folks saying they wanted to speak with us about this for a couple of reasons. One is we create a tremendous amount of content and put it out there as much as we can for the world. And we, a lot of these are causes. So once a quarter, I sort of, eat my own, meals, which is put out to the world that you should take 1% of your time, 1% of your resources, 1% of your money, and donate it to a cause. And that came from Mark Benioff, the CEO of Salesforce.com. And I can't remember the name that he calls that, but basically give back, give something back if you're doing well. And even when you're not doing well, because, karma of the universe says that if you're doing things for other people, things will come back to you. So ever since I started, I wanted to do this. So what we're now at the point where once a quarter, we actually kind of save a little piggy bank, a little bigger than a piggy bank of funds from every project that we do, and we give it to a really good cause. So we've been known for doing this, I think, in the area or the region. So Alliance for Education, Dr. Susan Love Breast Cancer Research Foundation, who's done a series of videos with us. Harvard, eradicating malaria from the planet. Alliance for Children, getting children better educations. And Imagine LA, Imagine Los Angeles, without homelessness. So these are all, it's just a fraction of the clients that we've worked with. Like I said, once a quarter, we try to do this. So many others. And so we got this phone call and said, we have an event coming up in a few months here. We've heard good things about you. We've seen your work because we have a lot of blogs out there. We've got a lot of, videos out there and things like that. And, occasionally I'll agree to do a podcast like this one. And every now and then someone will hear us. So that's how contact was first established. And I believe, they were looking at some traditional, marketing, vendors and digital agency vendors. But I believe very quickly, because of our passion for doing this kind of work, passion for helping, and that we've got such a great portfolio of work in this space, that I believe we became a very clear choice for them pretty quickly. So went from that initial phone call to a call with their CEO. And, we really dug in right in that phone call, because this is somebody that does not have a lot of time. She could be in Egypt and then Hong Kong, back in Los Angeles, and fly to Chicago the next day. I mean, she's globe-trotting, trying to get this disease to leave the earth and cure all these children that have it. So she went into, I'll pause for a second, take a breath. That's how first contact was made. That was the answer to your question. I'll hand it back to you.
Thanks. When you get a client through this, I guess you could say, altruistic design, and you're looking, is there a certain sense of, okay, this is, we're doing this as a favor, or we're doing this, below our normal, our line, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So just take what we got. you, you don't have the, what's the word I'm looking for? The not necessarily the ability, but is there a sense that the notes that you get from them, or the creative input, is just going to be less? Like, is it just a room full of grateful people to have a video, or do you approach it from the same perspective of, here's some ideas, give us your feedback, let's create a back and forth? Or are people just kind of like looking to get something out the door that's just off the cuff? And
I'll answer two ways: their team and our team. From their team, they're extremely invested in this. They really need this thing to be the best thing that they've ever done. They've created videos in the past, of course, but, typically they're the live action. I hired a videographer. We got some interviews. We, did that sort of thing. So when they come to us, they really are bumping it up a notch, or maybe a few notches, to really tell a great story. And then they really start to say, you know what? It would really be helpful if we could do this. Can we? And we say, yes. That's what we really want to do. We really want to do the thing that you can't do on your own. We really want to do the thing that, tell the story that makes you unique. We really want to tell the story that saves you time and gets you to your cause faster. And in a company, they're no different from when we work with Comcast or Cisco. They're doing great things too. They're hiring people. They're keeping them, from unemployment. They're, increasing their careers. They're helping feed their children. We think that, by doing what we do and bringing more business to these companies, that we're helping out a lot of people, not just creating a video. So in that case, it's, we're helping out companies, we're helping people. There are people that work at these companies. In this case, we're helping these people, but we're also literally, I feel the weight of this very heavily. We're literally able to help save lives, in this case. So it's the weight of that is possibly even heavier than just a kind of a corporate video. But we don't take any video lightly. We never say it's just a video. We always want to do our best. So especially in this case, but for every single client. So
I guess what I see so often in, you mentioned the sort of live action shoot, and a lot of times videos for charitable organizations are just kind of like a guy with a camera walking around talking to people. The production value is a little less. There definitely seems to be this element of sort of phoning it in, because I'm doing this at a cut rate, maybe even for free. It's sort of, it's part of my community service, jail time. In lieu of a fine, I had to come do a video.
Time served.
Yeah. So many of these projects and so many of these organizations get sort of undercut in terms of the quality. And what you guys did with NDF specifically for this project, you guys didn't cut any corners. There was no phoning it in. I mean, this is some serious animation, and this is also isn't a 90-second chip shot. This is 240 yards down the fairway, with a 4-iron, for crying out loud, which I can't hit 140. So the fact, metaphorically or realistically, but talk a little bit about diving into the process. And as we say, like you say, you took it as seriously as any other project, if not even more so, and created the visual style for it that you did.
Sure. So what's the question again?
So I just talk about just the general sort of visual style that you use, the hand-drawn animation.
Sure. I can jump in. Yeah, absolutely. So there were a couple of things. One is we always start with the story. What makes them different? What makes them unique? What's really, really needed? And usually we let the story tell us the style, and then we'll recommend that style, or recommend a few different styles. So, we kind of bagged on, the guy with the camera walking around a little bit, but live action, even mixed with animation or just live action alone, can be extremely powerful. And, so we really want the story to come out first, and then let us see how this thing is going to look, and, get agreement from the customer, make sure it matches their brand. In this particular case, what we started finding was having an overview for the big event that they have, where they literally raise $1 million in a matter of 3 hours. And in this case, we were there. My team and I were invited. We went to the event. We saw what they did. We got the applause. They were very kind. At the end of it, they had our whole table stand up, and people really loved what we did and gave us applause for that. It was really wonderful. So the event was amazing. We got the applause and that kind of thing for all the hard work that was done. But the most important piece was when we were talking to the CEO, she mentioned that, the event video is one thing, but what she really needs is help when she is pitching this idea to basically to investors. Now that's investors in money, that's investors in their time, that's investment in with their medical expertise, because they don't have a whole lot of funds to go out and say, oh, we have, it's easy if you have $50 million or $150 million to go out there and create some new product or vaccination and that kind of thing, where she needs people to donate their time. So she has to replicate herself and her story multiple times a day. And what she really wanted to have was a way to say, have a look at this video that I truly had a hand in. This is our real story, and this is why we need your help, medical community, financial community, etc., so that people can get it and not have to take, a half an hour of her time multiple times a day when she's flying around the globe. She can say, here, take a look at this video, then let's talk more about it. So this is really replacing her. This is replacing the CEO's message. So that was really important. So that's why this video is a little bit different. It's not like an event gala video. This is really digging into the details of how hard it is to come up with a vaccine or a treatment and get it through the medical process with the Food and Drug Administration, through the NIH, right? All these different areas that they have to go through, and they need big pharma. After a certain period, they're going to need $50, $100 million to go through true clinical trials, and that takes a lot. And that's when they need the help of, kind of big brother steps in or big sister steps in and says, we're going to take you along for the ride. So the story that we came up with was, pushing the massive boulder up a hill, and you can't do it alone, and survive, right? So it's an impossible task. So you need other people to join you in that quest to get this massive project up the hill. And how do you do it? One step at a time. You have to take one step at a time. So that's really what the visual story is, but we're giving a lot of detail, as we take that story through. So that was the concept phase, and they loved that idea. We came up with 4 or 5 concepts. This is the one that they gravitated to the most. And the way that they wanted to do it, they wanted it to be more organic. So, organic leads to hand-drawn art. So, when we say, quote, whiteboard animation, some people have the concept of that, and it can be something really beautifully done. Some people's concept of that is, oh, that's a cheap little stick figure. And we do not do the cheap little stick figures. Our art is very, very well defined, truly professional artists and award-winning artists. And then we hand it to animation. So we do both a live draw and animation to take people through this journey. And they were really, truly very happy and ecstatic about the work product, the video. It helped raise $1 million in one night. And now she is going to be taking it in the next few months and translating it into multiple languages, so that she can share that around the world. So we're very proud of this work.
Great. Well, we, my producers and I created the show, and we titled it Video Marketing Success Stories. And I can't think of a more perfect example of a video marketing success story than what you guys did for Neuromuscular Disease Foundation. Great job, Maury, and great job to your team at RIP Media Group.
Thank you very much.
And great job to our listeners for listening, just for being you. We so appreciate that. Thank you all for joining us at Video Marketing Success Stories. So, Maury, do you have any resources you could recommend to our listeners that they can check out either through your website or some other way?
Sure, absolutely. There's some great resources that we put together out there. So 3 that come to mind really quick. One is the Video Bot, THE Video Bot, like robot. The Video Bot helps people make their own videos in seconds, and it's a resource that we've been using really successfully, and our customers have been using. So, you want to get back in touch with that cold lead, or the person that hasn't gotten back in touch with you, or you just want to do some outreach, or even wish somebody, happy birthday, happy holidays. There are videos sitting in there waiting for you to personalize, and you can literally do it in seconds and send it out. And there is it's free for the first period of time. So that's a great resource. Second, If I'll give you a link to this, but this is basically basically it's called the Create the Salesperson That Never Sleeps. And this was actually compiled from all the frequently asked questions that we've had over the years from different customers of ours. So we put all those FAQs together and then turned it into a scorecard and a way to create your own best video marketing message and just marketing messages. So if you go there, you click on it, it's a free download, kind of download this workbook. I think it's 6 pages, nothing too laborious. It's not going to take you a year to go through, maybe a few minutes or half an hour. And you will have a great roadmap for what you should be setting up as far as your company's best story. So that is creating the salesperson that never sleeps. And then the last thing is, ways to promote your video or your story. There's another link that I could get you. And I believe that infographic is the 10 best ways to promote your video and your story. And I'll give you a link there. So those are the 3 things I can think of quickly. And happy to share more if you hit us up on our website at ripmediagroup.com.
Great, thank you. For more information on Rip Media Group and what they can do for you and your company, visit them at ripmediagroup.com. Check out their blogs and their sample videos. And thank you again for joining us, Maury.
Thank you very much for having me.
Take care, everybody.